Today we have an honorable guest, former Pakistan President. Please welcome Imran Khan. Okay, let's start. When you were in jail for some days, there were demonstrations going on in the country in which plenty of people died and hundreds of people got injured. Who is responsible for that? Whose head is this on? I mean, is this on your party? All of this.
Well, I was in jail for 4 days, and I had no idea what was going on because I was completely cut off from all news. So it was only after 4 days I discovered what had happened since I was when I was abducted from the precincts of the High Court, Islamabad, unlawfully as ruled by the Supreme Court. And so it was only afterwards I discovered the demonstrations and the impact. And sadly, 25 people died of that we know about. And there were up to 600 people who got injured. 600 people got injured. So what I don't want is, if I am jailed again, I do not want violence. Because violence feeds into the narrative of the PDM or these parties who are petrified of elections, because they then use that violence to then clamp down on us and this crackdown on us, where they just, anyone affiliated with PTI is just thrown into jail. This was a conspiracy. They used that, they burned the house. I know we didn't do it.
Then who did this? I mean, if you didn't do it, then who?
Look, all this is, you can easily, through a proper investigation, find out that a party for 27 years has never indulged in violence. When I was shot, they almost killed me. 12 of our people got bullet wounds. Even then there was no arson. I mean, surely when they try and kill the head of a party and you know, people saw me in hospital, yet you never saw people, any buildings being burned and all this happening. This was a pre-planned thing. And in front of your viewers, I'm saying any independent investigation will prove this. How can the Corps Commander's house, now remember, I've grown up in Lahore. Corps Commander house is about 2 miles from my house. We know the amount of security there. How come demonstrations were allowed to walk all the way 2 hours from Liberty Chalk to there? How come there was no police there? How come it was left unguarded? And what about the CCTV footage? Why don't they bring that footage out? You will know who did what. Because the head of our Punjab President, Dr. Yasmin, she's sitting there and telling the demonstrators, don't go inside.
Why you chose GHQ for demonstration? You know that even birds are not allowed to fly around the GHQ. You have a lot of other options. You should have gone to the desert area and sit there as much peacefully as you want.
Going to the GHQ is not a crime. It is part of Pakistan. You can demonstrate peacefully anywhere in this country. And when they see me being abducted by the army, the natural response would have been demonstrating peacefully in front of GHQ or whatever. But no one called for violence. Not one of our leaders said that you go and break things or burn down buildings. But we've never done it in 27 years. So all I want is an independent investigation. I'm confident that everyone will be exposed. We know where the police burned their vehicles. We know Radio Pakistan, Peshawar. There was no demonstration there. How come it got burned down? The demonstrator was 3 miles away. So I think, and why hasn't there been an investigation? That 25 people were shot, straight bullet wounds. All the people, hundreds of 600 people getting bullet wounds. How come there's no investigation there? In France, you see people demonstrators throwing petrol bombs at the police. How come no one shoots them there? I mean, there are demonstrations all over the world. But you don't they were straight firing into the crowd. Why has there been no investigation in that?
But they say the moment you came into power, you grabbed a stick which is very long, of course, and rounded them up and start beating them brutally.
It is just such a bunch of lies. First of all, during our time, there were only 5% of the cases against them. 95% of corruption cases against the PML leadership was from their own time. Remember, Ishaq Dar ran away when it was PML government. Nawaz Sharif's two sons ran away from Pakistan during their government.
You are allowed to leave them.
No, but first of all the 95% of the corruption cases were when we inherited them. Nawaz went during our time, but unfortunately, we didn't realize that his reports were all doctored. We thought he wouldn't survive a day. We were told in the cabinet. Anyway, what I'm saying is that you cannot even think of comparing what has happened to us in the last 1 year as opposed to what happened to them. I mean, when Nawaz Sharif was why was he banned? Because he was convicted by the Supreme Court. He lied that he was ill. He left the country. A convict leaves the country, absconds from justice, and he was making speeches from London. That's when the courts took a decision. Why have I been banned? I've not even been convicted of one thing. I mean, these are all allegations. So I'm banned from television. They can't show any of my live addresses. My senior leadership, everyone is now lumbered with cases. All our time is spent from going from one court to the other to get bail. This never happened.